Hi there and welcome to Scrap and Coffee. So today will be the last tutorial video for the Baby First Year album, finally. So there are a couple of things that I need to show you. The Trifold booklet I will show you quickly, comes together really fast, and how I did the element on the front cover. So I will show you both of those elements in this video. I do want to apologize at forehand because they started a construction site near my house, so we might have some trouble with background noise, but there is not a lot that I can do about it. Yeah, we just have to deal with it. Hopefully it's not too bad. So let's get started with the little trifold booklet, and then we go to this one. So start with the booklet. Okay, for this little booklet, you're gonna need 4 pieces of cardstock. The first piece doesn't have any score lines. Then you have 2 larger pieces with 1 score line, and your tape is on the dented side between the cut edge and that score line, and you want to taper that 1/2 inch on both pieces. And then you have 1 smaller piece, and there was a little mistake in the cutting guide. I'm really sorry about it. I just saw it when preparing these pieces. The measurement that says what you need to align on the top of your scoreboard is wrong. It should be the smallest size of what you need to cut. So you put the small size on top of your scoreboard, and then you score at 1/2 inch and 5/8 of an inch, and then you have a 1/8 of an inch gusset, and you've placed your tape on the bumpy side between the cut edge and that first 1/2 inch score line. So let's fold on all our score lines towards the bumpy sides for all of them and give that a quick burnish. So we're gonna start with the piece without any score lines, our first piece of cardstock, and one piece with a score line with tape, and we are going to place that on the right hand side along the cut edge, and that should line up on all 4 sides. Now I'm using 1/4 inch tape here. I do prefer the 3/8 inch tape, as you might know by now, but yeah, I don't really have a purpose for this piece, so didn't want to waste my 3/8 inch tape on it. I'm going to place it there, hold it in place, remove the tape backing, and then the other one, larger one with the score line, I'm going to place on top of this piece on the left hand side, just like that. Line it up as good as you can on all 4 sides. Hold that in place. There we go, this is your trifold. And then what I did, and that makes it a little bit weird probably, is I have my closure piece, which by the way I've used a corner rounder on it, so that's obviously an option to round the corners there. I've placed the tape on the bumpy side on this piece, and this is what we just did, and I've attached it on the back side here on my right hand side. So I'm going to do that now as well, but you can, yeah, you could also place it here, but I wanted to have this closed. I don't know, I just did what felt right. I wanted to have some sort of closure. So what I do is I remove the tape backing completely, and for make it easier, I open this up, and then I'm going to align this where I'm still able to see the score line, and hopefully get it as straight as I can get it, and burnish that. So now what happens is when you open it, it's not a trifold on this side, you just have 2 parts, and when you open it to the other side, you do have the trifold. So you have the trifold here, only your closure is in between there, so that makes it a little bit weird, but yeah, I didn't mind that. I like the look of it. So This is the Trifold booklet, and then what I did is I've made one side of the envelope policy closure, it's what it's called. The only thing what I didn't think about was I had my how do you call this, my thread coming out on the top, and I think you want to have it come out of the bottom, because now when I want to close it I have to go over that, so that's makes it a little bit difficult to close. It works, but it's I think it's better if you have to come out of the bottom. So that is the booklet. Really easy, simple and quick. Now for the front cover piece. So for this piece, I'm going to show you first how I've made this element, and then I will show you what you need to take into account for placing it on the front inside cover with the magnets and everything. So let's just go to the construction first, and then I'll explain about the rest. And also, again, I've mentioned it in the project share, but I want to mention it again. I made it in this direction. It works, but it's not perfect. So you might want to turn it around and have it you turn it 90 degrees and have it more to the side of your cover, because this is the place where you want to have your support. So that might be better, but the only downfall of it is that, like, I'm going to put the name here, maybe the date of birth, and when you have this turned around, yeah, that's a little bit more difficult to accomplish. So because this you want to keep the same, that's the measurement of the height is made in a way that I can reach the height of the spine. This you can make this smaller if you want, that's okay, but this you need to keep about the same, so you can reach the height of your actual spine part. So I've just got some scrap pieces of chipboard, so this is not the same size as you just saw on my front cover, but that's okay. It's about how you construct it and not so much about having the same measurements, I think. So I have 2 pieces of chipboard, and you want to wrap this is the same, yeah. You want to wrap this with some cardstock or some patterned paper, yeah, whatever you like to do to finish it off. I used white cardstock to wrap it and then decorated with patterned paper. I'm not going to do it now because I think we all know how to wrap a piece of square chipboard. It's just the same as for your cover, and all of that is yeah, I think we get it. Then I have a piece of Tyvek here. In this case I have some black Tyvek, but in my actual project I used completely white Tyvek because my project was white. But again, you can use whatever you have, and this is just to reinforce the folds between your chipboard pieces. So I scored it down the middle. This is the same width as my chipboard piece. You can cut it a little bit smaller. I have a little bit of a rough edge here, so let's just cut that off. And so this is the same width as the chipboard piece. I've scored it down the middle. It's all in the cutting guide, and you are going to fold on that. And then you are going to place your chipboard pieces on here where you're still able to see the score line with a little bit of stay away from your score line even a little bit. So here now I will see the white. That's okay. This is just for showing you. In my project I wanted to see the white because I had white cardstock, but if you're using black cardstock and you have black Tyvek, then you might want to make sure that you see the black side. That's better then, right? So in my case now it doesn't really matter. Let's get some tape. I'm just using double-sided tape to attach it. So you wrap these 2 pieces individual from each other. So when you place your tape, stay away from your score line as well. Don't go too close to the score line because you don't want to see that tape when your piece is folded up. So I'm staying away about 3/16 of an inch, roughly. So we do this on both our half sides. Again, stay away from the score line. There we go. Now I need, these pieces are really close together in measurement, but not quite the same. So this is the right way. I'm just going to peel away that tape backing, hopefully quickly. Then I'm going to place my first piece. So I'm staying away from my score line, about 1/16 of an inch. So your pieces really have the room to fold. And then, like, this is the right side, right? Again, stay away about 1/16. Just make sure you are still able to see the score line. Now this is really strong material, so that's not going to rip or anything, but this is quite flimsy. So what you want to clean up the back side as well with some cardstock. At least I did it. You're not really able to see it, but I did it. And then you also might want to place your magnet before you place this cardstock down. Now what I did for placing the magnets is I had a little tag. Now I'm just going to use this for now. But I just decided on how far I wanted that to stick out of the piece. So I'm just gluing that down quickly. Let's do something like this. And I think I actually scored that tag for folding it, so I'm just going to score it now. That will work as well. Pre-fold it a little bit so you can yeah, fold that. And then I am going to stick some magnets down, but I will peel them off again because I'm not going to use it, but I want to show you. So I have one magnet here and I've placed that on the back side of the tag. There we go. So I've used 3 magnets to place the piece in place. The second part, I made a little bumpers to keep it all in place, and I got some small pieces of chipboard from scraps, and here I have 3 of them. I just stuck them together like the same size, and I did 2 and then wrapped it with pattern paper. But 2 is a little bit on the low side, so you might want to consider doing 3. But then also think about it that when the piece is laying flat, this is 3 pieces stick together, that will lay underneath your piece, so that will create quite the bulk. And with 2 pieces, it's standing up a little bit, but it doesn't really bother me. And also my magnet that I will place later on right here somewhere was still able to hold that down with 2 pieces. So you might want to try what works before you actually stick it down, and you can stick these pieces down when everything is in place, so you can just figure that out, what works and what doesn't work. So next thing what you need to do is to figure out the piece of your pattern paper that you want to have on your front cover and cut it to size. So let's get some scrap piece of paper, something that will fit. I'm just going to use this for now. So this is my piece of pattern paper for my front inside cover, and I'm going to decide on where I want it on my cover. So I'm just placing it and looking at it and think like, okay, this is what I like. And then what I did was make a little mark just outside of the piece. So you might want to make sure that you're completely straight, measure it out. So just a little bit wider than your piece, like 1/16 of an inch on both sides, something like that. And then what I did was just get my ruler and my craft knife and cut a slit in my pattern paper there. Let's see if I'm through at once because my blade needs replacement. And then what I forgot to mention is I cut 2 separate pieces of white to cover this. But in the cutting guide I gave you 1 whole piece to cover it, and then you will also have about 1/2 inch sticking out on the top. So I need to cut this a little bit different. I will do that quickly. But you can decide for yourself if you want to do it in 2 pieces. So you would cut 1 piece just like this and clean up the bottom. So you don't bulk up the fold here too much. So your fold is really easy. If you do it in 1 piece, this will be a little bit more stiff to fold, but it's totally workable because I did it with 1 piece as well. And if you do 2 pieces, then you will cut 1 piece like this, and 1 piece you will need 1/2 inch more because you want to put that through the slit. So let me recut, scrap these quickly. There, so okay, so I would do 1 piece like that, but I will not stick this one down until I have my magnet in place, and then the other piece right here, and I would score that after I glue it down. So I'm going to glue this down. Stay away about 1/2 inch from your top edge. You can use double-sided tape for this as well, of course, whatever you prefer. So you just want to clean up the back side of the wrapping, but this is also your attachment piece. I hope you are able to follow me because see, I wasn't far enough away with my glue. So now I will score this piece. Fold on that score line. You can also pre-score it and do it before you attach it. And you might want to consider in angling this a little bit. I think it's easier to get it through the slit, but we made the slit a little larger than our chipboard, so that should not be a problem. Okay, so we've made that slit. Now, so this 1/2 inch flap here will go through that slit in your pattern paper. Again, you want to make sure that you are nice and straight and centered on your piece. Why am I not able to? Well, it's fine. So make sure you're straight. Now you can do this with double-sided tape or some wet glue. I'm just using the wet glue for now because I have it here. And you are going to glue this in place. Behind your pattern paper. Like that. So this is now where you want it. Then you need another magnet. We have a magnet here already, but it's not stuck down to anything. So what you want to do is prepare your magnet. And you are going to stand your piece up to where you reach the height of your spine. So you're going to measure that the highest point of your fold has reached the height of your spine. Then you have the magnet here, and you are going to hold that in place on the right height, of course. That's a little bit difficult. And then you are going to place your magnet on the back where it sticks on the other magnet, and you have your sticky part down. Then you get your cover in and you are going to glue down your piece of pattern paper with your magnet stuck down here on your cover. So you will place it. So this is the really hard part. Place it and your magnet is in place there. Then you can release that and lay it flat again. So now you also have a magnet here. Then you get a third magnet because I also want my piece to stay on my cover when it's laying flat. So I'm going to look for that magnet there. Again, get a piece of tape because these magnets don't have a self-adhesive layer. Stick your side of your tape up, then close this. And now you want to have your tape, of course, sticking on your chipboard, and that's not gonna work. Oh, it did work. So now my magnet is in place there as well, and then you can clean this up as well if you want. In my case, I can still see my magnet on my tag, but I don't mind because I'm not seeing it anyway. So all my magnets are in place now. This is staying flat, and now I will see, like, okay, if I put 3 pieces of chipboard on top of each other for my bumper, yeah, this is too wide with the tag, but what you want to create is when you place this up, the magnets here are sticking down to each other, is that you can make a little bumper there so your piece won't come down. Because that's with the weight of your book, it's going to tend to do this. So you want to have a little bumper there to prevent that. Now I did that with 2 pieces. You can also make 1 long piece, but because I have that tag there, that didn't work for me. So I did it with 2, but this is an example with 3. So you want to see is like, okay, when I lay it flat with 3 pieces underneath it, my magnet won't hold and I have too much bulk. So I think 2 pieces is better in that for that part, and my magnet will still hold. And of course you want to place it in a way where you're not able to see it when it's closed. So in my case that is the case. Let me get that in again. So I have my bumper pieces underneath here. And my magnet, you see, you are still able to see my magnet. Maybe I should place something over it, but when I close it, it still stays closed. And when I place this up, my magnet will hold there, and I can place it behind the bumper. So that's what you want to achieve actually. So yeah, this is not pretty, but you're not gonna see that. At least I don't see it when I use it. And it works. It makes your book, you know, when I open this, my cover is not going all the way to the bottom, but you have some support where you can just look at your pages and everything is workable and flat. So it's, yeah, something to consider if you want to do this or not, and how you are going to do it. But this is how I've constructed it and how I've placed it, and with all the magnets. So I hope that's somewhat clear to you on what it was that I did. And yeah, otherwise let me know. Okay, so I think that completes everything in the book. Like this, you have fine measurements for these photo mats in there, and for the booklet behind the belly band. I've placed all of that in the cutting guide, but I'm not gonna make examples because you only have to cut it to size. So I think you will figure that out. And oh yeah, these little things, really easy. I think I put it in the cutting guide as well. I have some here left. So one is a straight piece, your tag piece. I've got a little angled shape in there, and the other one is a pocket that I've also made a little angle in there. I just eyeballed it, I think 1/2 inch down. And yeah, it's a pocket, so you just glue that on there like a pocket. Really easy. And yeah, I've made them because I had these tags from the collection, so these tags fit in there perfectly. So that's you can adjust the size of that, of course, as well. And for the spine here, what I did is just got a scrap piece of chipboard, made it a little smaller than the actual spine, wrapped it with pattern paper and stuck it on there. That's all. Put it on this side I did an eyelet, and on some twine I have some charms. Really easy as well, nothing special. And so yeah, that's the baby first year album completely constructed. Now wait until we can put photos in there, right? So close it, it's all done. I hope you were able to follow along on what I did, and I want to thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next project. Bye bye.